Sir, can you move along in line? Oh, sorry, I was just caught off manifesting. Welcome back to Allegedly with your host KT and Dakota.
Your introductions never cease to amaze me.
Thank you. You know, trying to keep them fun, keep them fresh.
Keep them fun and fresh, and not very professional.
No, not professional at all. But hey, that music, should we let that music rip one more time?
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyways, so we are about to embark on a lesson, a journey, a little educational moment. We're all doing virtual learning these days. So, Katie Garl, you are our professor and a specialist on manifestation.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an absolute expert, but I'm here to school, here to teach, happy to, enlighten everyone.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. So, as far as like manifestation goes for me, the only thing that, like, when I envision it, I just envision Bretman Rock, like, laying out, smoking a blunt, maybe burning some sage, and he's got his eyes closed, just saying he's manifesting some things.
Oh, there's this one iconic story where he's like sitting in front of this Buddha and he's like, says something like, "Do not let these bitches test me." And he's like, "Me when I'm manifesting." And I'm like, yeah, super accurate.
I think it's hilarious. Like, he makes it funny. So, like, I think for me, that's kind of like the way I envision it, is just like eyes closed, just wishing and hoping for the best, you know?
I mean, it's not wrong. I think that there's a lot of different ways that people can manifest, but before I go into that, I'll back up for those who maybe don't know exactly what manifesting is.
Yeah, back that ass up for us.
Back that thing up, put it in reverse. So manifesting is essentially the theory or thought that you can create things or bring things into your life by meditation or positive thought and speaking things into the universe, essentially. So the idea of manifestation came from the law of attraction, and I think was made most popular by the book The Secret. And so
That just reminded me of the Book of Eli with
never
Denzel Washington.
never heard of her.
With Denzel Washington.
Never heard of her.
Anyways.
No, but anyway, so basically there is like, it is a spiritual act, I would say, but everyone's constantly manifesting things, and I think that's what people don't necessarily realize. So basically, if you're operating at low vibrations, you're always saying, why am I always having bad days? Why am I always so depressed? Like, with the law of attraction and speaking things into the universe is, or spirit or God or whoever you pray to or believe in, is basically taking that and saying, oh, Katie girl wants to be depressed, we're gonna like let her ride this one out, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's where the meditation and then positive mindset or thought kind of comes in. That's the main, like, what manifesting is. And then I don't know, like, have you ever you don't know much about it, but have you ever tried to do it?
I think I don't know much about it, but I live by the same like premises without knowing it, if you feel.
Okay.
Like, when you were just saying that, like, I almost had to throw an amen in there.
Right. You were like, to reach.
Yeah, because I'm like a big believer, or whatever what the correct word is. I'm a big believer in like someone being able to choose if they're going to have a good day or a bad day.
Totally.
If they're like wanting to be in a good mood or in a bad mood. And I think there are like environmental things that make it more difficult or more
Right.
challenging, or just like even like a sling of events that make it even more aggressively challenging. But I think that at the end of the day, like everyone has the option to choose.
Yeah.
And I think that can be pretty powerful, because like when you are positive and when you choose to be happy, you just typically are more successful, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And
So,
on the other side of that coin, on manifestation, I just think anything that I've ever like pursued or wanted to achieve, the moments where like I've told someone that, and even like I've self-consciously like thought out like I need to tell someone this because I'll have more accountability if like I say it and it'll become more true.
yeah. Yeah, you speak it into existence is literally what you're doing.
Right.
Basically, I think I can give a little bit of my backstory on how I kind of started doing it. Back in December, I would say, I started to kind of get into all the tarot stuff, as everyone knows if you've listened to that episode of the pod. But along with that, I came across some an author, and then also motivational spiritual speaker named Gabrielle Bernstein, and she talks a lot about manifesting and speaking things into the universe, and just like your relationship with the universe or spirit or God or whoever. And so through that, I did a 21-day challenge where every single day there was a new manifesting challenge or like action, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So some days it would be repeating a phrase over and over again, or some days it was like a 15-minute meditation where she would be speaking and you would do a lot of breath work and just kind of like thinking about whatever the topic focus of the day was, just to kind of center yourself. So I think there's a lot of different ways that people can manifest, but I would say now what I've kind of learned is, and now I think I'm in a higher vibe state than I was before, so it's a little bit easier for me. So I have been a big proponent of basically choose again. And this is what you made me think about. And when you said, like, if you choose to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought about choosing again is, say you are trying to manifest something in your life like love, and you constantly are being invaded by thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be single forever. This is so terrible. Like, and you start getting really down on yourself and feeling super lonely. You just take a moment, you take a deep breath, and then you essentially are just saying, like, okay, I hear these thoughts, but I'm going to choose again. And then you just start saying, like, I'm choosing a different thought. I'm choosing a different path. And then you kind of just like are respecting that you have those negative thoughts, so that you're not completely just saying like, oh no, I like in denial essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, but then you're saying like, okay, I get it. I hear myself and my thoughts, but I'm actually going to have happier thoughts essentially.
Is it
Um,
like choosing again as though like you're choosing another thing to focus your like
mhm.
positive energy on, like
Yeah.
money or
So,
career, something like that?
yeah. So, but you're like, so say the, or if you're just having a bad day specifically. So you're choosing again if you're saying like, okay, I hear that I'm having a bad day and I'm really depressed today, really down on myself. I hear and respect those feelings, but I'm going to choose again. You're saying like, I'm choosing a different option, and it's going to be like a positive option. You
Mm-hmm.
could also say like, I'm going to choose to live in a light of love instead, like that kind of thing. So you're basically saying like, hey, I hear myself, but that's actually not what I want to do right now. And
I
it can
love that.
it's actually a pretty good technique, I feel like, when you are really down on yourself or you're having super negative thoughts. I think like I've shared, I don't know on the about on the podcast, but in other like social media realms of my life, I've had depression and anxiety for as long as I can remember, and this has been like a huge change in my life. I think that like, yeah, I still have bad days. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, ever since I started manifesting, I've been shitting rainbows every day. Like, no,
Right.
that's absolutely not the case. But I now have the ability to kind of deal with them, say, like, hey, I understand I'm human. I'm not having the greatest day of my life, but I'm going to kind of like choose again. I'm going to choose to be happy instead of letting a 5 minute shitty thing that happened change my entire day, kind of thing.
I feel that now that you've kind of broken that down, I think the most relatable thing for me that I can think of, like where you like choose again, and it's also kind of like the most aggressive, like bad dayish, but like it during like a time of mourning, but like still having to go to work or something,
Yeah.
where it's just
Yeah.
like you like understand that that exists and like you like acknowledge that they're there, but you still have to like have positive interactions at work regardless.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So you kind of like
Yeah.
just choose again, I guess that's the phrase, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that's where you start. It's not necessarily like the full manifesting part of it, but it's where you start kind of like aligning yourself with that like spiritual light, I guess you could say, to where you're kind of like in line with all the positive things essentially, and then you start getting back to a place where you're naturally just manifesting positivity and good things into your life. So
So
um,
for me, for example, I've told both my sister-in-laws that I'm buying them a big ass house like before I'm 30 because that's when I'll be like a huge success. How do I
totally.
manifest
So first of all, best of luck to you.
that?
I have yet to manifest a house. I'm actually in the process of trying to manifest a house for myself, though, not for my sister.
Oh well,
Uh,
like I know. Well, I got a house coming in a couple months, I guess,
you've got a house on the way.
and it's on four wheels.
Yeah. No, but I think that so with material items, or even like relationships, anything like that, you can use the choose again method to kind of make sure that your vibes are more aligned with like high vibration, so that you're in that positive space. But then it's essentially at that point it's all about kind of believing these things to a point where like you essentially feel like it's already true, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like I feel it's so true that like I'm sharing it with others, you know?
Correct. So you're basically like, it's almost to the point like other people, like if someone didn't know you and you were talking about it, they would think that you already bought that house. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
something that I've recently
I like
started.
that.
Yeah. So, like, something I've recently started, I'm in the middle of doing is like a money manifestation, because I didn't necessarily know if I could manifest material things.
But we're material girls.
Yeah, well, we love that for us, but I just like, I don't know, I with my spiritual side, I never wanted it to be about like, oh, I'm gonna try to manifest like $1,000. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
more about like a mental journey for me than like the spiritual things, or the physical things. So I started this thing just because there was really great reviews about it and I wanted to just give it a go. And it's basically about like a 21-day challenge. You do stuff every single day to try to manifest $1,000 in 21 days. um I decided that I thought 1,000 was too little and I wanted to shoot for 5,000, which, as I just sat here and said, like, I just didn't want to manifest material items. Basically, it's all about, and then like the thought is like, it's any money that is unexpected. So, like, I wouldn't count like my paycheck that I know is coming in every 2 weeks as part of that.
Right.
Anyways, on day 2 of this challenge, I got an unexpected bonus from my job that I had no idea about. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And then since then, the only like new money that has kind of come my way, and I don't know that I would consider it new, but money that I have found is like random checks that I haven't cashed, like random like $20 bills in jean pockets, like stuff like that.
Right. Well, you're on your way to 5K, baby.
We're on our way. We're not there. We're a couple thousand short. I am over $1,000 though. So, you know, we're well on our way. We already beat what the book told us to do.
Love that. Well, I'm gonna have to dig in my pockets to see if I got 1,000 laying in.
Right? Please send her my way.
I think I left $1,000 bill in one.
We love that. No, something that I've learned, just like a little helpful tip if you are trying to manifest money into your life. A good tip was if you first of all, keep a little bit of money in your pocket, like physical cash, so that you're constantly seeing like money instead of just like a credit card kind of situation. And
Mm.
then whatever money you have, sort it so that however your wallet opens, the first dollar you see is the highest bill amount that you have.
Ooh, see, I do the opposite, but I might need to switch that up. I like
I
that.
know. Well, I always used to do the opposite because it's like if someone comes into my cash, like they're only going to see a $1 bill, you know? But then if I'm opening my wallet, the first thing I see is $1. Oh, and like everything should just be like neat and organized and clear everything out of your wallet so that you're basically like saying like, hey, I'm making room for more money kind of situation.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the physical thing. Something I've learned, well, through this and through just basic manifesting, a lot of like affirmations. So, basically saying like, I am deserving of $1,000. I have $1,000, and like, however you want to phrase it, and you just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it out loud until you basically believe it, kind of thing.
Right. Ooh,
And
I
then
love that.
you do it like multiple times throughout the day, or if it's about like your mood and your vibes, like I am a happy person who attracts happy and helpful people into my life. And then you just repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. And then whenever you have like negativity come in, you can do the choose again method, but then you can also do the like, I am a happy person, blah, 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 and keep saying it until that negative thought kind of goes out of your mind.
Snaps and amens.
So just like little tips. I don't know. A lot of meditation is great for manifesting. And I think just like overall trying to be a positive person and then really like believing in yourself. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think people think that manifesting is a super weird thing to do or a super hard thing to do, but one, everyone's already manifesting their life as is. So, like, if you think I'm weird for what I'm doing, like, I'm just trying to take better control of my life than you are, you know?
Right. But I mean,
Um,
it's just like believing something that's not true yet to be so true that it will happen next or in the future.
right, exactly. Um, and so I don't know. I think like it's great and it gives me time every single day where I'm doing something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like is the best thing overall. It's really helped improve my mental health, I would say, above all. So yeah, I don't know. Do
I
you have
love that.
other questions?
No, I don't even have any questions. I just feel kind of re-inspired, to be honest.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, I'm so glad to inspire.
well, I think that like a lot of my approach, like historically, has been in that way or in that style without giving it a name. But like, I think
Right.
what I'm missing that you're doing more of that I do want to start doing is a more organized way of like thinking it out. And I don't know, like writing it down almost even, you know?
No, I have a journal. So like every single morning, I do like a gratitude list where I like write down, like, I'm grateful for Dakota and the podcast that we have. Like, I just list like all the things I'm grateful for. So I'm starting the day in that positive vibe and mindset. And then I'll do like random, like some random manifestation thing. So, I switch it up day by day based on kind of like my own intuition, I would say, and like what I feel like I need to do for that moment. Just because I've learned so many different techniques. So, like, some days it'll be like I'll meditate. Some days I'll sit around and say like affirmations, and then I'll also write them down. If I'm in a work meeting and I'm really stressed out, I do this like meditation almost called Peace Begins with Me, and you like touch pressure points on your fingers with your thumb. And you just in your mind repeat Peace Begins with Me as you go, like your thumb touching each finger on the same hand. That's super calming. I don't know. It's just like random things every day, but I make sure it's the first thing I do every day. And then usually before bed, more times than not, I'm reading a spiritual book by Gabby Bernstein or someone else in the realm. Just so I'm kind of like starting and ending my day in that mindset. Because I think like sometimes when I'm at work or wherever, like it's easy to get kind of lost in the moment and like whatever's going on and everything seems terrible or whatever. And sometimes it's hard to like while I'm at work, like say, okay, excuse me, I need to like meditate for a second. But like at the same time, there have been meetings where I've done like little mental meditations because I'll get like extreme anxiety or something. But yeah, I think it's great. I would recommend for anyone who doesn't know much about it to kind of like educate yourself, because I think that while some people might not believe in all the woo woo shit I believe in, which is fine, I wouldn't sit around and like talk about these things if they weren't actually working, you know?
Right. I feel that.
Yeah, I don't
And the
know.
next time someone catches me like not listening to them, I'm just gonna be like, oh sorry, I was just manifesting something.
Excuse me, I was manifesting a thing or two.
Sir, can you move along in line? Oh, sorry, I was just caught off manifesting. Well, I appreciate that, Profe.
Yeah, no problem. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you try out some of the techniques I gave or look up Gabrielle Bernstein or someone else who's into manifesting or the law of attraction. There's a lot of great folks out there. As always, please follow us on our Instagram at allegedly Katie Dakota. Follow me at kt.hen and Dakota at Dakota Etheridge. Also, as always, please share our podcast on your Instagram story and tag our podcast so we can share you. Thanks, guys.
Peace and blessings.
I was just going to say peace be with you. Bye.
Bye.